Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome to this week. And gosh darn it, what a week it's been. Oh boy. So what a week. A lot of red, a little bit of green. In fact, the first part of the week started off pretty darn strong. We had some good green going. It looked like we were getting a bit of a recovery, but then of course that volatility came back. A lot of red towards the end of the week. So definitely a very interesting week nonetheless, but it's the weekend. It's Sunday. we've got uh, we've got next week to look forward to. Now, one interesting part of next week is that it is a short week. So the markets, of course. Now, I didn't actually check for the S&P 500. I know the TSX is closed on Friday, so short week. I like short weeks. They don't come along. They don't come along that often, but yeah, it could be interesting. So, what are we expecting? We got 2 days of March left. We got 2 days of April. The market, who knows what it's going to do on April 1st. April 1st is Wednesday. Oh boy. April 1st is also Apple Day. So Apple's 50th anniversary is coming out on April 1st. And there's rumors that there might be a new product. They might have some new product. Now, one of the other big rumors, and I don't know if this is an April 1st one, but apparently this year Apple's coming out with the iPhone. It's either going to be called the iPhone Ultra or the iPhone Fold. And as that word says, it's going to be a foldable. It's not going to be as tall as the Samsung. Apparently, it's going to be a little bit shorter, more wallet-sized. But could be interesting. Will they announce that? To me, that would be a great one to announce. I think that would absolutely stoke a lot of excitement. A lot of people have been waiting for a foldable Apple. So could that be coming out on Wednesday? We'll find out. And of course, we'll talk about it on the market close because why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we talk about it? Oh boy. A lot of stuff. One thing that sort of slipped a little bit under the radar is the Trans Mountain Pipeline. So over this week, and I believe it was Thursday, the final hurdles were passed. So they're going to double the capacity, the amount of natural gas that can be pumped through there. So somebody asked me a question earlier in the week about natural gas. If the whole thing going on with Iran, could it be a chance to get a push going with natural gas? And I was like, well, we don't yet have that infrastructure. So I stand a little bit incorrect, I guess, because we do have, well, we don't have it yet, so I am right. But if, as long as that goes ahead, and I don't know how long that's going to take, yeah, we will be able to sell more LNG, so liquefied natural gas, to wherever it needs to go. Asia, probably going to be a lot to Asia. So that's pretty cool. I think that's really, really cool. So, oh boy. Now with the war, oh gosh. So the Houthis are involved. So those of you who are like, who the heck are the Houthis? I remember Houthi and the Blowfish. No, that was Houthi. Anyway, bad 80s joke. Or is that, wait a minute, Houthi and the Blowfish, are they 90s? Anyway, so we have Houthi getting involved. They are they're an Iran-backed sort of revolutionary type group. You might even call them terrorists. I'm not sure if I would put that label on them or not. But they're based out of Yemen, I guess. Yemen, there, pronounce it right. So they fired a missile. This weekend at Israel. So it's a little bit of an expansion. It's not an actual country coming in, but rather an Iran-backed organization adding themselves. There's also more speculation about ground troops. Holy cow. Ground troops are going to be interesting. Ground troops will be very interesting. How is that going to happen? Or let me lay two scenarios. One, we got Karg Island. So Karg Island is it's kind of one of the really big oil ports for for Iran. So that would be a big blow to Iran. And Iran has already said if you send troops into Karg Island, it's not going to be pleasant. And I can see that happening. At the unpleasantness. So would Trump actually send troops in? Because you know what, they're going to get hit hard. You're going to lose. You're going to lose a lot of American lives, I think, if you send troops into Karg Island. Now, that's one scenario where Trump does that. The other scenario is that they're just there as a show of force, because Trump is still at his heart looking for a deal. He wants to get out of this war, and I think he does want to get out of this war. So are they more or less, let's put them here as a sort of a show of force to maybe try to get Iran to make a deal. Now the mistake, this is the one mistake that we have with that. That mistake is that, oh gosh, that's not great, because the Iran's not going to make, Iran's already said, the only deal they're willing to make is they want the U.S. completely out of the Middle East. It's like, bye-bye, go away, get out of your bases, leave the Middle East. Iran's not ready to make a deal. So that's the one problem. And I think that's the one. Trump is good at making deals. He, I'm not saying that I'm not saying I agree with the way he makes them, but he tends to be good at getting a deal in the end. This is one thing where I really think he bit off more than he was expecting. I think he really thought he would be able to just go in there, show some force, flex American muscle, get it done. But it hasn't gotten done. His initial 4 to 5 weeks, well, that would mean that this is the week it ends. It's not going to end, guys. It is going to go on. So, what can I say? Anyway, that was the week. Right now, we're going to have some fun here today. I'm going to answer your questions. We have an event that we tend to do at the end of the month. It's called Bingo, Market Bingo. So tomorrow afternoon, we are going to play bingo. Today, we're going to create the card. So a little bit later, not right now, I'm going to get you guys to give me your predictions for tomorrow, and not your predictions for, tomorrow's going to be a red day or tomorrow's going to be a green day. No, we're going to go stock by stock or ETF by ETF, whichever you guys want. We're going to fill up a bingo card and we're going to play it tomorrow. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then if you get a bingo, it's an extra show. And the way that'll work, guys, is because as you guys know, with the market closes, we got this thing called the Financial Express. So every time we get 4 supers or 4 gifted subs, that means we get a bonus show. So what this will do is if we win, if we get a bingo, it's going to be like, if you ever watch Wheel of Fortune, where there's that one thing where it's like it protects you against the bankrupt. So if you get it, or does it just give you a free spin anyway, it's basically like a free spin. So the way it'll work is, let's say, for example, we get a bingo tomorrow, but we don't get the supers for a Tuesday show. Well, this one would instantly cover the next time. Basically, the next time we do not get a show, this one will step in and say, nah, yes, we do. And it will create a show. So it'll be used at the next available slot. So whenever we don't hit our super goals, that's going to come in and it's going to protect us. It's like putting a lead wall between Superman and kryptonite. I guess that's a good analogy. All right. I've rambled long enough. It's time to hit the chat. And very, very first thing I got to do is got to pull up John. John is in with a super chat. What are the oil futures looking like? Right now, I don't yet have access to oil. We will have that by the end of the show, though. So when we look at the current futures, and let's actually head over there. Give me a second. Let's First of all, let's pull up this bang boom. Here we go. When we look currently, the last data we have for oil, this here is, well, let me show you. It's Friday. So this, and actually Brent won't even come on, but we will get access to WTI this afternoon. And we'll also, I think, around 6 o'clock Eastern. That's when we should have a bit more information. So we'll bring that up, of course, as soon as we have it, John. And thank you very, very much. And of course, you know, even though there's not a show on the line today, we still have the Goat Squad, and this is our evil Monopoly goat in the building. All right, now if that wasn't enough, we have Samantha coming in with 5 gifted Mountain Finance memberships. Holy banana bread! So let's see who won. Nikki, congratulations. Roku, great. I love it. Roku is in, and I'm pretty sure Roku's here. Roku's always here. Just Consistent. And Abstract Jeff. Not to be confused with Realism Jeff. We also got Redbeard's World. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while, Redbeard. Great to see that obviously you are watching in the background. Lurking because you won. You normally don't win if you, if you're sort of like subscribe and never come back type thing. Anyway, Redbeard is awesome. I know Redbeard. All right. Whew, gosh, that's really cool. Now, I owe Samantha a lot of goats. I owe her a lot of goats. And just give me a second here. Let's hit up the goats. And first of all, we will go with our Bay Street goat. So this is goat number 2. Goat in the bell. No bell today. Market's closed, but why not? And this next one is pretty, I think this one is very relevant because April 1st. Not only is it Apple Day, it could potentially be the day Canadians head into the moon. So Artemis 2. The launch window begins April 1st, and everything's looking good. They've actually got the astronauts down there. They're ready to go. So here is our space goat who's hanging out on the moon, waiting to see Canada fly by. And interesting enough, this orbit that they're going to do will actually take them the furthest away from Earth that humans have ever been. So it's going to be historic. It's going to be historic. I'm pretty excited about it. And we also have our Professor Goat. So our Professor Goat, Math Goat, in the building for sure. All right. Now that's only 3. She hit us with 5. So we got 2 more. All right. This goat, we got 2 Easter goats. Now this first of the one is the one that has been nicknamed as the Hannibal Lecter goat. You guys will see why in a moment. Here we go. Oh dear. So this is going to be retired. Pretty darn soon this week coming up because Easter's coming up. All right. Now that's not our only Easter goat. We also have this Easter goat right here. So this one here is doing the egg thing. Doing the egg thing. What can I say? All right, there we go. All of your goats have been paid in full. The Goat Squad is in full glory. Yeah. All right, now, holy banana bread. Let's actually get to the beginning of the chat. We've been quite literally. We've been live for 15 minutes, and I have not yet looked at the chat. We got Jonathan in first. Am I late for bingo? Nope. You are not late for bingo, my friend. Bismarcky in the house with a good afternoon. We got Samantha with happy Sunday, everyone. Lisa says hello, everyone. And Stan says hello, all. Scott saying happy Sunday. Lance in with a good afternoon, all. And we got Paul with a good afternoon. Holy banana bread. I'm just flying through these. We also have Mary saying hello, all. And guys, Mary is our official captain of that like button. So no excuse. Just hit it. Turn it blue. While you guys are hitting that like button, I get to have my first sip of coffee of the day. Here we go. Oh gosh, that is so good. I will be finished this coffee before the stream is over. That's how good it is today. So what can I say? But guys, yeah, absolutely. Please hit that like button. I will, I'll refresh the test box. Let's see where we are at, and then we'll get a goal. We'll get a goal going. 25. Let's double that. Let's just double it. We'll take it to 50, and we'll go from there. But let's get those likes coming in. All right, Bleak is hey all oddball says good afternoon everyone. And let's see, Samantha, he's really going to have to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Yeah. Well, there's one. This is, you know what? And I kind of hope he does this. And we're talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about the American administration. But one way to get out of this war, just declare victory and leave. Simple as that. Just declare victory and leave. That would probably be a best case scenario at this point. So I'm hoping, you know, I mean, we make, people make fun of him saying taco. In this case, taco, I'm okay. Let's do it on Tuesday. We'll have a Taco Tuesday. Just declare win. Donald, you've won. Just leave. All right, Navi says, you don't win wars by air, only by boots on the ground. I have a feeling, and let me just, to this comment, if we get to a ground war, one, there's not even remotely enough troops there for a full-on ground war. Maybe enough to take Karg Island, but then you're going to get bombarded by artillery, and it won't be pleasant. Even if the U.S. were to commit to a full ground war and start getting those troops over there, oh gosh, I feel it could be another Vietnam. I kind of feel like it could be. I don't think it would be a good idea. I personally, and plus, I'm not a huge fan of war. I mean, hopefully none of you guys are. I mean, well, maybe some of you are. I don't know, but let's just hope. All right, and Samantha is welcoming all of the new goats to the Goat Squad. Here we go. And I knew you were here. I knew it. Roku was in the house. Haha. Samantha says you're welcome. Let's see. Is Trump hitching a ride on the spaceship? Gosh. Hope I don't know. I am surprised. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't done something like that yet, though. Just to sort of say he's done it. I mean, heck, even William Shatner went up into low Earth orbit with one of those ships. So, yeah, Trump should do it. Why not? Sky is in the house with a hi all. Paul says had 14,850 steps yesterday and 9.9 kilometers on the whole day, mostly at work during an 8-hour shift. So doing nothing today. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, today was a busy day. Actually, this morning, Mo Momentum, I was on his podcast, so he was filming that. I have no idea when that drops. I probably should have asked him, but maybe it's already dropped. I don't know. I don't know what his schedule is like, but look for that on Mo Momentum. When it drops, though, guys, feel free just to throw it over on the Discord, because that's pretty cool. Niece is in the house with a hey all. Hello, Niece. How are you doing? How's spring looking over in Sweden? So far here, it's starting to slowly warm up, but I'll tell you, I would like to see a little bit more. I want to start seeing like days in the double digits. I want to see more 10 days. Hopefully towards the middle of April. All right, Paul says, and that is in safety boots. So they're heavy. Yeah, it's kind of like you're getting an extra workout. It's kind of like, I guess it's like the gateway to ankle weights, those safety boots. Now, are they steel-toed? That would be the other question I would ask. Because obviously, if you throw steel toes on them, that's going to be a little bit more weight on them as well. So, it's a good workout. It's a good workout. Good old safety boots. Rory says, afternoon, winter is going to hit yet again 15 centimeters for central Saskatchewan. Oh, no. Yeah. Well, yeah, the West kind of had, they kind of had some warmth for a while we were suffering in the East. So it looks like it's flipping a little bit, a little bit. Let's see. Bismarcky, supposed to be 17 degrees in southern Ontario tomorrow. I saw that I think it's Windsor is supposed to get up to 24. I don't know if that was for today or if that was for tomorrow. I have a feeling from your comment it probably was for tomorrow. So that's nice. That would be a nice day for sure. Yesterday, I had to go over to Walmart, and I swear it felt like winter. I had to wear my hood. It got so cold. Wind was blowing. There was a little tiny bit of snow flurries in it, and it was just, well, I think it was about -10 wind chill, but it sure felt a lot colder. That's one of the downsides to when you don't go out much in the winter because everything that you do is in your house. When you do have to go out, you definitely feel it. So that was yesterday. That was yesterday. All right, now guys, coming up, of course, we have this. I don't know if you guys remember. We're going to be putting in some. We're going to put some stock and ETF names in here this afternoon. Green or red, depending on what you guys think is going to happen tomorrow. Now, here's the thing about tomorrow. It could go either way. That makes it even more exciting. So it's going to be interesting. Like if we think it's a green day, we probably should put a lot of green on the board. Or if we think it's a red day, we should put a lot of red. It really depends on how it happens. So far, escalation-wise, Trump hasn't done much this weekend. So that bodes well for green if Trump hasn't done a lot. So that really bodes well for green. However, here's the thing. Guys, don't start giving me stocks till I ask for them. We're not ready yet. I'm just looking at how, I'm painting the landscape. All right. However, I will still take your guesses if you want those guesses. But first of all, so the landscape, as I said, so Trump hasn't said a lot. That bodes well for the green. Now, you could, though, argue that whole Houthi thing, that Houthi attack, that's a red catalyst. So we got a little red catalyst, and we kind of got a big green catalyst. So I don't know. There's a chance, guys. There's a chance we could have a green day. Now, I did mention that at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, that's when we start to get some of that futures data. I want to have this board put together before we get futures data because I don't want us to just, sort of look at the futures. So the futures are all red. It's like, yeah, okay, this red, this red, this red. So we're going to start right now. So Claudia was in first, and she came in with an HHIS. All right, so let's grab it. First of all, I need a text box. Here's our text box right over here. All right, give me a second here. Let me get in HHIS, first of all, HHIS, and I also need it to be, well, gosh, I need it bigger than that. Let's go to about this big, and let's go to Anton. There we go. I want something big, something we can see. HHIS, we have it. All right, now, I also need to, of course, put in her color. So she said red for HHIS. So she's expecting it to be a red tech day. There we go. Bang, boom, it is in. All right, now Jackie has got XEG. All right, let's put in XEG as we move across. All right, we got XEG. And Jackie has a green for XEG. I love it. Rory, let's see. I was the one who picked BlackBerry on the last bingo card. Yeah, and maybe you'll end up picking it again. It's a possibility. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say one. I'm not gonna say dope. Rory, you're not a dope. Navi, I'm going to start a position in TLT for a trade. Nice. And I guess you're going to do it twice. Let's see. Paul says New Balance safety boots. Had to get 4E with size, so my toes had room. Previous were Keen boots, and after 2 hours, little toes were rubbing on the inside. New boots are snug in ankle, foot, midfoot, and toes. Yeah, especially if you're going to wear some footwear for a long time, you want to make sure it fits properly. I've actually seen people who've been wearing shoes that are too tight in the toes. I've seen people actually have like, some serious issues with their toes, more or less nails. So what can I say? All right. Ooh, we got another one. Sky says PLTE. All right, let's grab here. Let's pull it over. All right, and we're going with the extended PLTE. And what color? Green. All right, Palantir green. All right. Oh, we got a few here sitting here. Paul. All right. Paul has MSTE and in the green. Well, I have a swing trade open on MSTE, Paul, so I actually really hope you're right. MSTE, and once again, just going to make a second one there. There we go. We got green for MSTE. Perfect. I'm loving it. No, Rory. All right. Rory, we're doing it again, are we? Blackberry red. All right, let's bring in blackberry, and let's bring in a red. We got our first row. Could this be a bingo? Could this be a bingo? Maybe. All right, let's keep going. Samantha comes in with Air Canada. Let's pull in Air Canada. Bang. And green. All right, I got a green for Air Canada. Gonna take a chance on Air Canada? Yeah, I like Air Canada. Why not? Sorry, A says good afternoon. Bismarcky thinks Tellus will be red. All right, let's bring Tellus in. All right, let's see here. A, and we're gonna go T. And what color did you say for Tellus? Red. All right, let's make sure we bring in a red for Tellus. Oh boy. All right, Xenial is going, ENCL is going to be a green. Let's grab an ENCL. Let's pull in ENCL. All right, and I haven't gotten my one in yet. I'll give you mine here in a second. Actually, before, wait, well, all right, let me do mine first. I'm gonna go with, all right. I'm going with bird construction. And I'm going to say green. I'm going to give a green for bird construction. All right. Patricia is in the house. And let's see, is there room for CNQ and EMB to go up, or is it already priced in? Of course, there's room for them to go up, depending on what's happening with oil. If oil keeps going up, Canadian natural resources will definitely go up. Enbridge, they're part of that utility bucket, and that utility bucket's been doing well. So yeah, there is definitely room. There's definitely room for them. All right, let's see here. BCE red, and Patricia also said BCE red. So let's put in BCE. All right. Command C, Command V. Let's get BCE. And we got red here. That might be an easy one, but then again, it could surprise us. It could surprise us. All right, let's see here. What does Rory have? All right, we're getting filled in here pretty fast. WCP. All right, and we're saying what are we saying on W? We're saying green. All right. You guys, now guys, don't all pick oil related. Let's just see. Oh, VFV red. All right, I like that. Samantha thinks, all right, thinks VFV. Here we go. All right, and that's going to be a red. All right, we're starting to see. We're getting a pretty even mix, actually. I'm kind of liking it. I'm just going to make a few more green here. Or whoa, almost ate up that green here. All right, here we go. I'm just adding a few more green in case we need them. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. All right. VFE red. So that was the last one there, Samantha. Let's see, Paul, trying to pick ones that will line up on the row. I know. I'm just doing it whatever order you guys throw them at me, and that to me that's my form of randomness. Patricia, I want to get rid of BCE so badly. Paul says Tesla in the red. Oh, all right. All right, Tesla. All right, Tesla in the red. We'll bring that in there for Paul. Just one rule, I guess one little rule we'll throw in here, guys, is if we have Tesla there, we can't put like Tesla and, we'll just stick to one for each individual company. It kind of, otherwise it's, we like to get a little bit of, what's the word? A variety. GSY in the red. Oh, that might be a safe bet. Let's see. GSY, go easy. I hope you're right on that one. It's not a company that I love. It's not a company. All right, we got 2 rows left to fill up. Patricia says CP. All right, let's grab this. We got CP coming up here. So, and what interesting color. Oh, red. Ooh. Whoa. What's this? BBC ZP. Jeez, banana bread. It was starting to look like a Russian hockey team. All right, CP in the red. NVIDIA in the red too. Yeah, let's go with it. Why not? All right, NVIDIA. Let's see here. All right, NVDA. And, we're running out of red. You guys are all getting a little reddish lately here. All right, NVIDIA in the red. All right, we got NVIDIA. HBTE in the green. I like that one. All right, let's see here. All right, HBTE. And let's grab a green. Here we go. Bang, boom. Yikes, I just want to center that a little bit better. There we go. All right, HBTE. And the wonderful Mary is putting Constellation Software in the green. All right. Can we get some recovery for good old CSU? And let's grab a green here. Let's see here. All right. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know how I am. Let's see. Samantha thinks London Gold will be in the green. I like that. I like that one too. I like that one. All right, let's see here. London Gold, LUG. All right, we got 5 left, guys. Here we go. I'm just going to make one. Whoops. I said I was going to make one more. All right, we got 5 left. Let's see what we got. SoFi in the red. All right. All right, SoFi. Let's grab. All right. SOFI, I think. Whoops. All right, SoFi in the red. All right, bang, boom. All right, let's take a look. Sol in the green. All right, Sol. All right, so the Solana ETF here. Let's see. All right, and we got green for that. We got 3 left. XNDU. That's an NVIDIA one, I think, John. I think that's an NVIDIA one. So we already got NVIDIA up there, so we're not going to add a second one. All right, let me just see. Ian says bank in the red. All right, let's see. Bank. All right, so somebody's predicting a bad day for the banks tomorrow. All right, let's bring that in. We have 2 left, so think hard. Kelly is in with IVN in the green. All right, well, let's hope. Oops, let's bring that green up a little bit here. All right, IVN. All right, guys, we're down to the last one. We're down to the last one. Will it be red? Will it be green? Who's it gonna be? Sky is in with Utes. All right, let me grab this one here. All right. Oh, and that's a tough one because Utes doesn't move a lot. But yeah, so you're saying green. All right, green for Utes. All right. We got our bingo card, guys. We got our bingo card. Nice. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Patricia says Brookfield. Oh, yeah, it would have been nice to put Brookfield in there too. But we got, well, next time. We're going to do this every month, guys. This is going to be a new monthly thing. So the last Sunday of every month, we're going to build the card. We're going to play it on the first live stream in the week. So this is going to be good. There's our card. There's our card. I love it. Let's see. Noah says, Noah, the short seller here. Well, hello. Hello, short seller. How is your day? Now, hopefully you're talking about the market, or you could be a person who sells underwear, but I assume it's the market. All right, Paul. A good thing Harvest X Dividend Day isn't Monday. Otherwise, MSTE could be red for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And Rory says the Clarity Act is selling crypto to sell off. Well, we're not actually seeing that much of a sell-off right now. But yeah, I've heard a little bit about the Clarity Act, and I think I did watch. I watched something on it on the weekend, or sorry, well, earlier in the weekend. I don't think the Clarity Act is that big. And I know some people seem to be worried about it. I'm not really that worried about it. I think, if anything, people are sort of reacting to fear more than anything else. I would really like to see, though, exactly what the act was doing. I've heard people talking about it online saying, oh my God, this is terrible for crypto. But I have not actually seen the documentation on it. So I don't know exactly what it does, but I'll tell you, I still feel I'm still fine on crypto. And even right now, if we take a look here, let's go to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's up a tiny bit right now, up 0.46. So yeah, this is probably, I don't know if the Clarity Act helped this, but we've been kind of moving sideways for the moment. I'd like to actually see a bounce. I'd like to see Bitcoin back up in here for the, that's what I'd like to see. But there are people who think it's going to crash. Gary Gill, I think, was kind of predicting. Gary Gill actually has a second channel. He has basically it's a crypto channel. He does a video. I think he does a video a week on it. And he was kind of thinking it might crash, but we'll see. I still like it. I like it at this level. I think as long as it stays above this red line, and right now it seems to be recognizing it. I would love to see a nice bounce off of here. Get us back up to about 70K. That's what I would like to see, but we'll see. We'll see how this is all going to look. All right. SVR green. I got my list. I got my list, Lance. I got my list. Unfortunately, let's see. Bitcoin is flat on the month, plus 1%. Yeah, exactly. And Bitcoin, and right now we're in a little bit of a flat trend at this moment. All right, Paul. Okay, here. Paul is shedding some light on the Clarity Act. So let me see. The big issue is banks do not want stablecoins to have yield, but stablecoin issuers want yield. So that is the big issue right now. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of think stablecoins shouldn't have yield. I kind of think they shouldn't, and I'll tell you why. You want a stable coin to be a stable coin. So for example, what I would say is, all right, I'm trying to think of any way that yield would make sense. Because yeah, if you have a stable coin to USD, you want a coin that pretty much, is pegged to the US dollar. It doesn't move a lot, the general idea. Once you start introducing yield, I think, it does make those dynamics. It probably makes it a little bit harder to keep it at the right price level. But yeah, I kind of, oh God, I hate to say I'm siding with the banks on this one, but I would prefer that it didn't have a yield. At least a stable coin. Most crypto doesn't have a yield unless it's staking, and staking is another thing, right? So are you, And I don't think you should be staking stable coins, but you know, we'll see how this is all going to. We'll see how this is all going to turn out. Let's see. Ian says, if the strait never opened up, where would the bottom be? I don't think the world would go full Mad Max. Well, keep in mind, so there's a lot of different talk about that's been going on. I know that Russia and China have been kind of talking as well. And there has been talk where any of the countries who are not involved in what's happening to Iran, there's been talk to say, hey, why don't we just let those ones go through? Iran has even been talking about, well, maybe we'll start charging a toll. If you pay us like $1 million, we'll let your boat through. So there's been some really interesting talk going on. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but there's also been talk. You remember when I was trying to find the Hormuz Strait the other day, and I went to that other strait? Well, there's actually been talk that Iran is trying to see if they can get that strait actually closed as well. But I don't think that'll happen. So keep in mind, it's not that there's zero production of oil in the world right now. It's because this is basically about 20%, which is huge. Huge. I mean, it will be energy crisis numbers. But here's the thing. There is still a lot of oil out there. It's just that it's going to be very expensive because there's not going to be a lot. There's not going to be a lot. All right. Oroku says Xanadu is a new quantum computing stock on the TSX. Went public last week, getting government money, if I recall. Okay. Interesting. Xanadu. I think there was a movie in the 80s called Xanadu. Olivia Newton-John. There we go. Never mind. Rory beat me to it. All right, let's see. Rory says, song popped in my head as soon as I saw the ticker. All right, Doris is in the house. A very new. Be kind here. Absolutely. Those are the rules. Those are the rules for sure. Yeah, I mean, the only rules that we have really in the live stream is that everybody is respectful. And it's a good group. It's a good group. So let's see here. Doris says, Kevin O'Leary said last month that the only crypto to own is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Anything else will drop huge. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people give Kevin O'Leary a lot of guff, but he does have a lot of information. I think he's got a good knowledge base. Now, is he right? I don't think so. Not completely. But let me just say, I think there's a lot of altcoins, a lot of smaller coins that are downright dangerous to hold. Heck, in my market closes, I have a little section where I call it, basically it's the crap coin of the day, where I just randomly pick some little coin and, kind of just to make a point that these are dangerous. You want to be doing your research before you get in. So Bitcoin, yeah, I have a lot of conviction behind Bitcoin. I think Ethereum as well. There's a few others that I think there is a really good case for. So XRP, for example, all of that Ripple thing, it's huge in banking. So I think I think they're very safe. Solana is kind of a cheaper platform to build things on compared to Ethereum. Ethereum has high gas fees. So I think Solana is also in there. Cardano, I would say it's safe. It's not at the top of my list. And the other one, and this is going to sound really out to lunch, is Dogecoin. And the only reason for that is that, there is a sort of a case. There is a case for Dogecoin. And there are vendors that actually use and trade their goods in Dogecoin. So I think Dogecoin is also is safe. But once you start getting beyond the big ones, then things start to get a bit more murky. And then, yeah, you are kind of, in some cases, you're gambling. You want to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. You want to make sure you've read the white papers. You want to make sure you know what that coin does and that it really does make sense. But yeah, I mean, for me, Bitcoin, definitely. I have full confidence in Bitcoin. That would be the only one that I have 100% confidence in, and even 100%. I wouldn't even say 100%. I'd say 99.99999%. When you start going into the next ones like Ethereum is probably about a 95. XRP would probably be about maybe, I'd say probably 95 as well. And then the number gets a little bit lower. And obviously for me, if I don't have 75% confidence in something, I usually don't invest in it. All right. Paul says, remember the bad exercise video on TV in the 80s? Was that an exercise? I remember in the 80s they used to have all of those, what do we call it? All of those aerobic shows, like the 20-minute workout, and just, some guy and a couple of girls and all in spandex doing it in synchronous. And I used to look at that. I remember as a kid, I'd look at that and I'm like, that just makes it look more confusing. So, yeah, but I remember those. And I think you had the Jane Fonda workout, and there's a whole bunch of them. But oh gosh, yeah, I'm kind of glad that, I mean, maybe they're still on TV. I don't know, but I haven't seen them. Lance says, let's see, I read an article that said Trump had called the Strait of Hormuz the Strait of Trump. Really? I could just see that in his new thing. It's like, all right, call it the Strait of Trump and I'll go home. Let me build a casino. No, or a hotel, a golf course. I think he stopped building casinos. But yeah, I haven't heard that, but it is within his character for sure. All right. Anise says, always nice people here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Every so often we get somebody who comes in who's an absolute idiot, and they get introduced to Mr. Foote. Let's see. Paul says, Trump will try and find a way to run again in 2028, so we could be stuck with him again. I don't think he will. He's getting old. I mean, even now, if you just listen to his speeches, I don't feel like they're as energetic as they would. I think he's just getting too old. I honestly, I really don't think he will. Now, not to say he won't try to groom the person who replaces him, and not to say he won't play a role in the background. But I mean, here's the reality, and this is kind of one of the scary things. I don't know if I'll call it a scary thing. I guess a scary thing for Trump. One of the things he's afraid of is he's afraid of the election this year, because there's a good chance the House will flip blue. If the House flips blue, what's going to happen. I will tell you right now, if the Democrats take the House, it won't be long before we see impeachment. We see an impeachment coming for Trump. It won't be long. It'll probably happen. Now I think he did get impeached last time too. So impeachment doesn't always mean that you're out on your butt, but I think he wants to sort of get, and there's some people think that's part of what the war is about, is to try to get people to not be thinking. So I don't even know how he's going to try everything in the book, I think, to try to keep the House red, but it's going to be really interesting. Like November is going to be really, really interesting. VNP Green, we got our list, but oh boy, it's almost like I should make 2 bingo cards now at this point. Let's see. Lance says, I'm surprised Trump lasted this long in his second term. I'm interested to see what will happen with him when he is not the president anymore. That's in regards to all the damage he's done and the Epstein files. It's hard to say, I mean, here's the thing right now. I think, honestly, I think most people will sort of move on. And he is getting, like, he is old. He's old. I'm just going to put that out there. Whatever happens to him after he's finished office, because here's the problem, and I will mention this. Being the president of the United States, it ages you. So if you're already coming into it old, boy, that's a lot of stress. It'll take a lot out of him. I think the next, whatever's left, 2 and a bit years. Um, so yeah, I think Trump, even if he sort of stays in the background as a voice, I think he'll almost fade. I think he'll sort of fade out of public view after these 4 years for the most part. Though I imagine people will be talking about him for a long time, depending on where this all goes, for sure. Let's see, Rory. Good grief, it's April and minus 80 degrees Celsius at the moment. Snow Monday and more on Thursday. Yeah. Now, Rory, my mom used to always believe, you've heard that saying, in like a lion, out like a lamb. My mom used to always think that if we had a good beginning of March, it would be the opposite. So it'd be in like a lamb and out like a lion. So I don't know. Did you have, was the beginning of the month pretty good for you, Rory? Because, that would fit the other side of that saying, if that's so. And Paul says Olivia Newton-John's iconic 1981 hit Physical features a famous exercise-themed music video. Yes, yes, it does. I remember the video. And there was like a pretty hefty guy on what was it, on a treadmill? I think. Now, maybe I don't remember the video, but that's kind of what pops into my head. And Bismarcky says Trump is out to bankrupt the stock market. Um, yeah, I don't think he will. I don't think he will, but I mean, the problem here is I don't think Trump wants to bankrupt the stock market. He loves the stock market. And for him, the stock market is quite literally a reflection. For him, if the stock market's doing good in his mind, so is the economy, whether or not that is the case. So, and that's one of the interesting things about playing right now, especially if you're trading, is trying to figure out, what move is Trump going to do next? What's he going to do? How's he going to get the stock market back in favor? And for him, it's kind of like he can create a couple of green days and then it disappears. And his last attempt didn't really work at all. So what can I say? Lance says, don't mention snow. I escaped the cold weather for a week and don't miss it one bit. It'll be waiting for you when you come back, Lance. Sorry to say so. All right, let's see here. Rory, she was better than Richard Simmons. um, One thing I will say about Richard Simmons is, if you remember the old David Letterman show, one of my favorite guests, it was Richard Simmons, only for the reason that David tortured him something awful. And then Richard would, by the end of the show, would be so mad that he'd be pretty much storming out. Obviously, they were doing it to be fun, and obviously, it was probably pre-rehearsed, but it was funny as can be. But yeah, but then other than that, I remember commercials, sweating to the oldies. What can I say? Paul says, it is sad that when people get in their 80s, it goes downhill, or at least some people. Yeah, it depends. I mean, there's some people who are 100 who are sharp as tacks. And I have a theory. I believe if you use your mind and you push your mind, you exercise it just like you would pumping iron, but instead you're maybe pumping information or pumping problems. I think, I think you're making new connections, and that sort of helps keep your mind sharper late into the years, depending on how old you go to. And here's the reality too: we're not that far away. Like there's a lot when it comes to anti-aging and things like that. There's a lot of research on the horizon that, I I might be too old, but I think if you're 40 now, I think if you're under 40, you're probably going to live, well past 100. Just from the advancement in medicine, the advancement in anti-aging technology. So yeah, if you're under 40, you're here for a very long time. I'm just saying. Let's see. Not Jane Fonda. Let's see. At 50, it goes downhill and accelerates. Roku says, if you're old enough, you might remember the Ed Allen exercise show. I think I've heard the name Ed Allen, but I don't remember an exercise show. Let's see. Just your average March acts like Trump doesn't know what it is doing. March is that month that it can be up and down all over the place. Now, the nice thing about April, no matter how bad the beginning of April might be where you're at, by the time you get to the end of April, it's you're pretty much full on spring at that point. You shouldn't be getting snow at the end of April. Moving into May, t-shirt weather, depending on where you live, it might already be t-shirt weather, but I think it'll be good. I think it's going to be good. I think we'll have, actually, I think the long-term forecast right now for the summer is hotter than normal. So we might actually have a pretty hot summer, hot and humid, depending on where you are. Hot and humid in the east, hot and dry in the middle, and then probably just typical Vancouver on the on the coast. Let's see. Paul, 7 degrees Celsius in BC, lower mainland, but yesterday got up to 12 per the Weather Network, but Makar said 15 around 11 a.m. Oh yeah, there you go. Keep in mind though too, when when the Weather Network gives you the temperature for what it's going to be in your area, that's kind of basically the average temperature across all of all of that area. So some areas might be a little higher, might be a little lower. Some might be just dead on. Bismarck, I'm sure he loved his casinos too. He probably did. Let's see here. Why do I still care? Let's see. I don't understand Trump's relationship with Putin. Being in the presidential car, the 2-hour private conversation, the easing of restrictions, even if it came out of Russia, was helping. Even if it came out, even after it came out, Russia was helping Iran. Yeah, last I heard, Russia was actually giving them satellite images. But here's the thing. I don't know what it is. Trump has this thing where if it's a strong leader, he has a certain level of respect. And I think it's because he sees himself as being a strong leader. So he tries to have, he has respect for Putin. He has respect for China, North Korea, all of his favorite dictators and such. And I think he just wants to be a strong leader at the same time. So, I don't understand the relationship 100% either, but it just seems to be that's that connection that he has. I think it would be nice if he was a bit more, if he had, maybe some Democratic leaders that he looked up to instead. I would probably prefer that. But yeah, but when it comes to Russia, the whole Russia helping Iran thing, no, we've all, the West has been doing that for Ukraine. If you look at it from that perspective, so it's not like Russia is really poking the bear, because Russia can just say, "Hey, you guys did it to to Ukraine. I'm just returning the favor." So yeah, I mean, in a way, Russia, I don't want to say they're justified, but they kind of are, unfortunately. Let's see. Ian says, I think Trump got some bad advice about Iran and now has no exit strategy. He's running out of exit strategies. I think he really thought, that he was going to come in and it was going to be like Venezuela Part 2. Just a quick boom, bang. Now, on the bright side, I guess Cuba is probably looking at it and says, well, as long as this keeps on going, maybe he'll forget about us. We'll have to see how that all goes. But I think he's in a situation where I think he needs an exit strategy. I just don't think there's any easy one, and he's going to have to compromise. I think his best bet, and I said this earlier, is he just has to say, yeah, we won. We decimated their military. We've hit our goals. We're happy. They don't have nukes. We're leaving. He kind of has to do that. And hope, and this is the hope part on that Iran's just like, oh, okay, fine, it's over. But Iran may not. Iran's already talking what they want. They want America out of the Middle East. They also want reparations for all the damage that the U.S. did to them. So, I think it's going to be messy. I don't think, even if he did just walk away, I think it would still be messy. But you never know. Iran might let him if he does that. We'll have to see, but, behind the scenes, they might still be begging for reparations or demanding them, or I don't know. But Israel is the other thing here. I don't think Israel wants it to end, but at the same time, if the U.S. leaves, I don't think Israel could stand it alone. Not unless they're planning to do some unthinkable things, and hopefully that's not the case. Lance, let's see. Trump had good advice but didn't follow it. He was told by his generals not to start a war with Iran. That was really good advice. But the problem is, most of the people who know better very quickly got shown the door in this administration, unfortunately. So, and I think part of it is Trump's ego. He doesn't like people to be smarter than he is. He doesn't like to be told what to do. He wants, he just wants yes men. I mean, why do you think his, the head of the, the secretary of the Department of War is some guy who couldn't even throw an axe on a weekend news show? Well, because Trump wants somebody who is going to be a yes man, somebody who is way over their head. That's exactly what he did. And that's exactly what his administration is kind of shaped up to be. And unfortunately, a smart move, like in leadership, the smartest move you can do is surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. So people who are smarter, that's the smartest thing you can do in leadership, because you don't have to. Your job as a leader, your job's not to be smart. Your job is to utilize all of the smart resources that surround you, that will advise you, that will keep you from making mistakes, keep you from, doing the dumb thing. Because a lot of times when you have that skill set that you can lead, that you can communicate, that you can inspire people to follow you, a lot of times that comes with not being the top of your class in all of these other areas. And I think that's the one thing that Trump is missing. If Trump had that, if Trump had come into the White House with that, gosh darn it, you know what? I'll say it. He'd be a good president. He'd be a good president, but he doesn't have that. He has ego, and, he doesn't like things not to go his way. So, unfortunately, Trump is missing. He's missing that key component of a good leader, and it shows. It really does. All right. Lance says Trump is for Trump. There we go. Ian, my mom used to use that sweating to the oldies tape. I hated it. Oh, God. Let's see. Rob says Candace's gold and silver prices being reset. Quick answer? No. I've heard rumors of a gold and silver reset. No, it's not. And I know people are arguing now, well, why is it going down? Shouldn't people, while all this conflict is going on, shouldn't they be piling into gold, pushing it up? And we do see it. We sort of see it moving back and forth. And part of it, I think, is I don't think gold and silver knows what to do. I don't think investors know what to do because, it's like, put your green foot in, take your green foot out, put your red foot in, put your red foot out. It's, it's the hokey pokey. That's kind of where the market has been. And I think it's really hard for gold and silver to sort of get any kind of consistency in that. And it's definitely showing. But I think gold is fine. I think silver is fine. I think buying at whenever we have the red foot in, buying, yep, it's not a bad idea. So I'm okay with that. Let's see, Mayor, what is reset? When do prices get reset? They go up or down? All right, a May long weekend, snow and -1 degree. May long, holy cow. Rory, well, if Wealthsimple gets that, and that's another thing that broke this week, is Wealthsimple might be getting into poly betting. If they start doing that, you might be able to make a bet on that. I don't know how weather bets are going to work. Because obviously you can't do short-term weather bets because you can just, go look at the weatherman and then pick the opposite and you'll probably win. No, I'm just joking. Well, the Weather Network's not that bad. Their data is getting better. And with AI, I think weather forecasting will actually really, really improve. So I think a lot of the bets on the weather, it's probably going to be a situation where you're going into, let's say you're going into April and you'll say, okay, I'm going to bet that there are 3 snow days in in Calgary in April. And obviously there'll be a definition of what a snow day is. Like a flurry doesn't count as a snow day. But let's say 3 snow days of 1 centimeter or more snow. Okay, that might be a bet. That's what I think the weather type bets are going to be. I'm curious about it. I'm not going to bank any of the bets. And honestly, I kind of hope it doesn't even happen, but I'm still curious. Let's see. Paul says, I know that seasonally Tesla goes down January to March and up April to December. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. A says, is there a carbon tax coming from the Liberals? There won't be any, there won't be, I mean, obviously, any kind of taxation around carbon, they're going to hide it. They're not going to make it, because that's probably the most unpopular thing they could do. Now, of course, there is that industrial carbon tax, and I don't know if I haven't heard of any whispers of it going up, but, maybe, maybe, but I think at this point in time, and here's the thing, and I think at this point in time, we're kind of in a situation where we've got oil inflation coming. People are taxed enough. Costs are going to go up. People can barely get by. A single person today cannot rent an apartment. They can't, unless they have a really good job. But if you're, if you're fresh out of school, you get a half decent job, you still can't afford to rent an apartment. You're forced into a roommate situation. That's the only way you're going to be able to afford to live. That's not good. That's not good. There needs to be changes made, because quite honestly, that's just unsustainable for for a country, for a world. And, considering, if you go back, even if you go back as far as like the 60s, the 50s, 60s, you could get out of school and get a good job as a single person. You could still afford a house. You could still afford a house. You could afford a house. You could afford a wife. You could afford a kids. Maybe 2 or 3 kids, maybe 4 or 5. Who knows? But you could afford all of that on one salary. Now it's impossible. Now, even if you have a husband and a wife, 2 salaries, it's still tough. It's still hard to make ends meet. A lot of people can't even afford kids. So when we talk about our fertility rate, and we talk about our replenishment rate of people, why aren't we hitting that number? And I believe the number is 2.1. So we need to have 2.1 kids per family just to be able to maintain our population. And we're below it. We're below it. And, a lot of it, it's, yes, some of it you could say, well, people don't relate as much anymore because of the internet and games and other things. And, now AI. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. But the other reality is that kids are expensive. A lot of people are like, can we even afford one opposed to 2.1? And that's kind of that thing. That's kind of what we're looking at in this world. So would there be, would the government ever come out and say, yeah, we're going to put a new carbon tax? Oh God, no. That would be an instant way to lose popularity. And right now they're riding high, the Liberals. If they held, and I know a few of you were thinking, oh, we'll get an election in the spring. If they held an election, so if they called an election, I don't think they need to now because it looks like they'll have the numbers for a majority anyway. But if they were to call an election right now, they probably would win a majority. There's too much work that needs to be done. The NDP just elected a new leader. Pierre's still got a lot of damage control to do, to try to get some of his numbers back. Right now, they're not great. And that's one of the reasons he's doing a lot of the things he's doing. So, for example, going on Joe Rogan, yes, he's trying to help Canada, but at the same time, he's also rehabilitating his image a little bit too. So I don't even think, even if he could have a vote of no confidence tomorrow, I don't think he would want to. I don't think, they may all vote for it, but a few might abstain. He might have a few of them abstain just to make sure it doesn't pass. That's what happened the last one. For the simple reason that nobody is ready. the conservatives are not ready for an election. The NDP's not ready for an election. The only one who's ready for an election actually is the Liberals. And they know they would probably win. But in a sense, it's kind of a good thing that, they had a few floor crossers so that way we don't have to have an election and spend that extra money. We're in a situation where I don't think the country can afford it. All right. Lance says, I think silver is going to skyrocket in 2 weeks when big money is positioned for May delivery. They usually do that 2 weeks before first notice days. For May delivery, that's April 28th or 29th. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Why do I care? Says Paul. Candace can confirm, but I think Tesla is an interest rate sensitive stock. So if rates are going up, it's hard to say what Tesla is, to be honest. So yeah, if rates go up, obviously it's not super great for Tesla, only because, especially the car side of the business. So that's the car side. The car side, I think, are very rate sensitive because rates go up. People can't afford to be buying cars. They can't afford the payments on new cars. So that does get impacted for sure. However, the other side of Tesla, and Elon Musk has even come out and said, Tesla is not a car company. We're an AI company and robotics. So that side, I think, is not rate sensitive. The car side, I think it is. I think the car side, yeah, definitely, but not so much the AI and robotics. But let's find out. Let's find out how that all ends up working. All right, let's see here. Rory, Cuba tries to get away, and suddenly they hear, where do you think you're going? Okay, where would they go? They don't have a lot of opportunities. Let's see. Alance says, my boss is just like Trump personality-wise. He is an egomaniac, and when he is replaced, we will all celebrate. Yikes. Let's see. Narcissists love the drama. Maybe. Depending. There's a lot of different. So I hate to use the word sociopath, because a lot of times somebody hears the word sociopath and, I think because of television, a lot of people say sociopath and psychopath. That's all, it's all serial killers and stuff like that. It really isn't, actually. A lot of people in business, there's a lot of bosses who are sociopaths. Psychology is super, super interesting. And, let's not even go into sociopath. Narcissist, of course, being a narcissist and a sociopath are kind of really, really connected. So yeah, there is, sometimes it's not so much that they love the drama. I think it's more or less that they sort of love observing it, kind of studying it, figuring out, what's going on. Because a lot of times, if you look at, like a lot of people who are narcissists and sociopaths, a lot of times they're in a situation where they don't even fully understand human reactions. And they'll study them. They'll study them to sort of figure them out. And that can sometimes help them when it comes to, manipulating people and getting what it is that they want. So it is, it's kind of bad. Anyway. All right, the Epic Coder. What's surprised to hear about the Qatar-Ukraine Defense Pact? Yeah. It was actually interesting. When I first heard that some of the Middle East was reaching out to Ukraine, I'm like, what are they expecting from Ukraine? But yeah, no, Qatar, Qatar. It's Qatar. I felt like I was saying it wrong for a second. But yeah, Qatar, they're really pissed after that whole, their whole LNG facility being hit pretty badly by Iran. So, they're not happy about that. So I can understand why they would do it. And yeah, it's surprising, but it's not at the same time. So yeah, I agree and I disagree, I guess. Len says, let's see, Iran was developing nuclear weapons and uttered death to America and Israel. Is America supposed to wait until Iran drops the first nuclear weapon? He made the right choice. Okay. Yeah, obviously, Iran has been enriching radium. I was going to say radium. Iran has been enriching in uranium. Oh boy, try and say that fast. So, were they on the path to nuclear weapons? They claim they weren't, but, that's a claim. So maybe, maybe they were. Um, but I don't know. I can understand why you want to get in there. I can understand wanting to stop it, but was was there no choice? That's the question, right? That's what it boils down to. Was there no diplomatic way to ensure that Iran was not going to build nuclear weapons? Yeah, you could argue that the sanctions didn't seem to be doing much. You could argue that, somebody had to do something. But, you know, I really don't think all of the diplomatic options were off the table. And I also think that it shouldn't have been, I think it shouldn't have been like for one, I think Trump should have informed Congress. He should have gotten permission from Congress. I also think that it should have been a larger operation. If, Iran was going to be that level of a threat, it should have been a NATO operation. So he should have also had NATO on board instead of sort of going rogue and going, sort of rogue. We'll call him a rogue nation in this case because he kind of left the alliance, did it on his own, well, other than with Israel. But Israel always has been looking for a chance. But I do think that there may have been other options, and I think that it wasn't the attack as it is wasn't thought out well enough. And I don't think, I think he didn't have any backing, and that to me probably shows it wasn't the right time to do it. Not to say that at some point there wasn't going to be some kind of a confrontation. There might have been, and there probably would have been. But, here's that thing. Just because somebody gets nukes, it doesn't always necessarily mean they're going to use them. I mean, we were worried about North Korea. At one point, everybody thought if North Korea gets the nuke, they're going to use them. Well, they've got quite a few of them now, but they're not using them to, they're not attacking anybody with them. They're more or less just to say, hey, we got nukes, leave us alone. Guess what? Everybody's leaving them alone. So if Iran had the nuclear weapons, would they be the same way? Probably. And part of the reason I think for that is I think, one, who holds the leash to Iran? Well, two countries, Russia and China. And they're not going to, they would never let them go, start using weapons of mass destruction like that. So you kind of have to sort of decide, where is that balance? And now we're at a situation where already France is planning to expand their nuclear stockpile because they're like, well, we can't count on the U.S., so we need our own. We need to make sure we have enough to create deterrence for all of Europe. And I don't think anybody would be dumb enough to start using nuclear weapons. I really don't. What worries me more than anything else is when a nuclear weapon is fired by mistake. That is what I worry about. And we've had situations where it's almost happened. But luckily, calmer heads have prevailed in all of these situations and have prevented nuclear weapons from being fired. In fact, there's one story. There was a glitch. U.S. So one of the I think it was a Soviet at the time because it was the Soviet Union. There was a glitch that showed a whole bunch of ICBMs launching from the United States. And normally the procedure is, this Russian officer, or I guess Soviet officer at the time, he was supposed to report it immediately, so that way the leader could, and I don't know what they were called back then, but the leader of the Kremlin or whatever could decide, should we retaliate? Is it time to launch our nukes? And based on the information that was showing, yeah, that would have been the most logical step. This guy was just like, no, it can't be. It really can't be. So he didn't pass it up the chain. He continued to try to figure out what the heck was going on. And luckily he did, because it turned out that it was It was kind of like that movie War Games. That's basically what it was. It was just sort of something left over in the computer from a simulation, and nothing had actually been launched. Now, if he had passed it up the chain without figuring out what it is, well, we might all be we might all be fleshy-headed mutants right now. I'm just saying. So, I hope nobody ever uses them, but I always do worry that's, somebody does by mistake, or or a terrorist gets their hands on one. Oh gosh, that wouldn't be good. All right, Ian. First time Trump got elected, he hired the smartest, best people he could find. Then most of them quit or got let go for not doing what he wanted. This time he hired all yes men. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Um, like Trump should just stick with the problem is, if you're going to hire the smartest people, if you're going to hire people who are smarter than you, then you have to accept that they're smarter than you, and you have to take what they say seriously. You can't say, oh, well, that's not what I want to do. I mean, and Trump came up with a few doozy ideas in his first term, but luckily he still had the smart people around. Because I know at one point, one of his first ideas that I heard, and I was just like, what? Thank God people corrected him on this, is he sort of mused on whether he could just hit a hurricane with a nuclear weapon, if that would stop it. I was just like, what? No, no. That would have been a really bad idea. But, everybody talked him out of that one really fast. Scott, Trump needs someone to advise him not to walk off a cliff. I agree. All right. Seabass says, let's see, I'm waiting for 18 p.m. to watch the VX1 and CL1 to possibly enter at 20 p.m. on Wealthsimple or on WS. I'm at a plus 10% this month with my speculation. Oh, interesting. That's not bad. That's not bad. Plus 10% is pretty darn good. Let's see. Redwater. I remembered in the 80s, silver went from, say, $10 to $40. A bank in Germany dumped 30 tons into the market. That reset the price of silver. Yeah, I mean, that's, that, if we had a situation in the world where all of a sudden a ton of new silver and gold just sort of appeared out of nowhere, yeah, that could reset the market for sure. Because obviously if you think about it, it's almost like stocks. If you think about the amount of silver in the world, and then in relation to the market cap for silver, if all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of new silver, maybe new silver found, a whole bunch of new silver, yeah, that does sort of dilute it a little bit. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen right now, but I'm right now. It's funny. A lot of things I didn't think were going to happen. Like I really didn't think we were going to, end up in a tussle with Iran, but we are. A lot of the things I didn't think are going to happen sometimes do. So I always try to keep an open mind for sure. Let's see. I think gold is going down and USD up temporarily, maybe due to countries wanting to secure oil and gas. Might not last. Good time to exchange USD. Yeah, it really boils down to, for one, I mean, yeah, the U.S., like, I do not know how much they currently have in their strategic reserve, because I know that there was some released. But yeah, some countries are going to be able to make some good money off of this, including Canada. I mean, in Canada, we can start charging more for our oil, and as it runs low, because even now, like if you think about the discount of Western Canadian Select, if the U.S. is able to charge a lot more for their oil, well, they can pay us a lot more for the heavy crude that we're going to send them. They can. And they might be in a situation where even though Trump says we don't need Canadian oil, well, they might still be in a situation where they do. Let's see. Venezuela has some large ore deposits of gold. Yeah, there's a lot of gold in Central America for sure. Chavez and Maduro weren't going to exploit their gold reserves, but the USA might. Maybe, but I haven't heard anything about it yet. All right. Okay. And this here, Len, like I said, I did not hear exactly how much, but the industrial carbon tax will increase on April 1st, which means we will pay more for everything. But how much is it increasing? That's a question I would ask. I don't like it. I don't like that it's being increased. Like, I don't think, I think with the industrial carbon tax, there's probably a better way. Like what I would do, honestly, instead of a carbon tax, I would just find companies that don't hit certain emission goals, like, make certain emission levels illegal. Like you have to have an emission goal of this or you shut down. Simple as that. And because what happens with a lot of these carbon taxes, industrial carbon taxes, a lot of times you got carbon credits. So sometimes a company that has really good emissions, they bank those carbon credits and then they sell them to companies that don't have good emissions. And then they just use those credits so that way they're okay. It shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. There should just be say, okay, here's the worst you can pollute the planet. This is it. You can't go higher. If you go higher, we're shutting you down. That's the way it needs to be, in my opinion. In my opinion, and I know that that could be a rocky, turbulent way to get there, but I don't like carbon credits. Rob says, now that we are in a declining market because of the war, are stocks like Playboy what people should be getting into? Um, in honesty, with a market in a decline, I think a lot more people will actually shift to ETFs because, picking one stock right now with a decline, you just don't know. I mean, there are some stocks I think that are very safe. I think a lot of the defensive stocks, I think utilities are safe. I even think the railroads are fairly safe. They might go down a little bit, but some people, if you really want to be safe, I would be looking at, ETFs. ETFs tend to give you a lot better diversification. And there are defensive ones if you want to go defensive, or if you just want to go broad market, or if you want utilities, materials. There's a lot out there. So I think things will be fine. I think everything is going to be fine. When is this going to end? I don't know. But we will be fine on the other end. And if it does, so if, like, as I mentioned before, I was talking about it on Friday, and so I have to, by tomorrow as well, guys, we're going to look at correction levels tomorrow, and we're going to see if any of the exchanges have officially hit correction territory. So to hit a correction, you have to be down 10% from your all-time highs. We kind of eyeballed them on Friday. It didn't look like we were there, but the NASDAQ was pretty darn close. So I'm going to pull the data together, and we'll actually look at that tomorrow. So that's going to be on tomorrow's show. Lance says, silver and gold will ultimately trend up over time. I'm extremely bullish on silver in the midterm and more so in the long term. Yeah, and keep in mind, the thing about metals is that, especially gold, silver, and copper, as technology increases, and whether or not, I know some of you think we're in the AI bubble, and some of you think the AI bubble is breaking. But the reality is, there's going to be more data centers built. And you guys know this. I mean, you've heard of, like, for example, the one that was just mentioned from Bell, that one that's going to be built near Regina. That's all using tons of silver, tons of gold, well, mostly copper, but it is using a lot of it, and that trend is not going to stop. So you have to look, and this is kind of one of the things when you look at something like gold, gold in particular, because it's used as a hedge of value. At the same time, things are moving. It moves up and down because of that, but it's also a high demand because it's also the only non-corrosive superconducting material, and that is huge when it comes to circuit boards, when it comes to chips. Same thing with silver. Silver, well, not the exact same thing. Silver is corrosive, so is copper, but they both have that same electrical conductance, and they're huge. They're going to be huge. All right, it's time to have some coffee, guys. That is so good. All right, Kelly says, metals going up and down. 30 days ago, we were being told these metals were crucial to production of electric cars, i.e. data centers, robotics. Metals should stabilize, right? They should. And I stand behind that thesis. I do stand behind that thesis. They are going to be, copper, for example, copper, we are expecting by 2030 for it to be in shortage. So, it's not that there isn't a lot of it. There's a lot of it there, but it takes time to process it. And we're at a point that the amount being processed is less than the amount needed. So that's how a shortage, that's how a shortage goes. Basically, once the amount we have in storage is gone, then we got a shortage. That is certainly coming. So yeah, I mean, metals, are huge. Now, there's a few that I'm not super keen on. Like, I'm not keen on lithium. Yes, it's used in batteries, but I do think that there are other better technologies on the horizon that will use a lot less lithium. So I think lithium is kind of like probably for the next 5 years, it'll still be pretty good. But beyond that, I'm not so certain. No, I'm not so certain about it. I'm really not. All right, Lance, let's see. Silver above ground is shrinking, but demand is growing, and primary silver miners are less than common as it's usually a byproduct of copper zinc mining. Yeah, there is that too. All right, Ian says, hey, I tell my daughter we are in hard times, got to live like the people in the 1930s did, only eat out on special occasions, cook food from basic ingredients, walk places, spend less, invest more. Yeah, and uh, quite certainly. One of the things that we are looking at is that because of the energy crisis, because of the cost of where oil is going, there are some countries I've already heard where they've been telling people work from home, don't use energy. Obviously you still have to use lights, power, things like that, but a lot of people are just saying don't bother driving to work. You've got the capability to work from home, do it. So I've even heard, and I don't know if it'll get quite this bad, that we could get into a situation where we have a energy lockdown. So it's a situation where it's like, if it's a possible in any way, shape, or form, you work from home. I've heard also stories of garbage men being told only pick up the garbage every second week. So that could happen as well. I don't know which countries those are in though. So that I don't know. But if it gets much worse, these type of stories will probably become a lot more common than the odd place where it's happening. All right, Redwater, is silver the new soldier of modern? Oh, you mean solder of modern electronics? I don't know. I don't know if it's solder, if I'd call it solder, but what can I say? All right, JJ. Sorry, JJ. Every time I see the JJ together, I want to say JJ. Jonathan, I can afford 1.1 kid. Okay, there you go. Is that sort of like, I guess that would almost be like, those commercials where you can send a little bit of money every month and then a kid gets to have water. I don't know if that would be where where 0.1 would come in. Let's see. Silver is good for all those things, but I think some countries, China, are stockpiling silver for more than just solar panels and car batteries. You need a lot of silver for missiles. Yes, there's also, speaking of China, so a lot of Chinese people, so well, not all, I'm going to say people who live in China. One of the big investments in the past has been houses. Real estate used to be huge, but real estate investing is starting to sour a lot in China. So a lot of people who are investing, they're actually investing in, well, physical silver. Also, probably a little bit gold, but silver has been one of the big areas. So as a lot of Chinese people have been hoarding silver as their investment instead of going into real estate, that is putting pressure on silver for sure. Redwater, Reaganomics ended the family unit. Um, I'm not sure about that, but maybe. Let's see. Ferris says hello. Well, hello, Ferris. How are you? A says the problem now is people that can afford kids don't want kids, and people that can't afford kids can't have kids. There are very few people that want kids and can also afford them. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And it's a situation like it's one of the reasons that a lot of Western countries are turning to immigration just to try to maintain their population. Canada as well. There's a lot of people in the third world that are producing kids, well, pretty darn fast, and that's the kids are kind of becoming a bit of a resource because if you can't maintain your population level, well, what happens if you start losing population? You start losing GDP. It starts impacting your economy. So, it is kind of a crucial, it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance for sure. All right. And let's see here. How far behind am I? Oh, I'm quite a ways behind. So guys, if you're not talking directly to me, if you're talking to somebody else, I'm going to skip you just to sort of move us along a little bit here. Let's see. Lance says Iran was years away from being an imminent threat to the States. A threat, yes, but not anytime soon. The war wouldn't have happened eventually, but for different reasons than why it started when it did, an imminent nuclear threat. Um, yeah, I don't know how far. And that's the thing. It's so muddled. You hear reports that, some of some of Trump's advisors said it wasn't close to making a nuclear weapon. Others say it was. Israel has been saying that they've been days away from a nuclear weapon now for, what, 10 years? It's hard to say if they were. I honestly don't know. Let's see. Doorpat, Iran needed the weapons to prevent invasions like this from happening. America is turning from world police to world bully. Yes, you are right. No one wants to use nuclear weapons, not even Iran. Yeah, I don't think Iran does. Now, there's been threats in the past. Like, there's been threats saying if we had nuclear weapons, we would hit you, Israel. Yeah, they're there. They are there, absolutely. And you can sort of point at them and say, you see, they're going to do it. But I think they're just threats. Countries talk big. But, to actually, considering, look how long nuclear weapons have been in play. How many times have they been used? Twice. By only one country, the US. So I really don't think anybody wants to use them. They are a deterrence. Absolutely. Let's see. Rob says, speaking about this US ground attack in Iran, will they do it like how they did it in Venezuela, where they are going to send in a machine that causes nosebleeds, vomiting, and headaches? I do not know anything about that. If they did, like I said, that's the first I've heard that. I haven't heard of that before. So I know whatever they did it fast. So I don't know. Problem is, even if you are looking at a ground war in Iran, it's a huge country, right? Obviously, you would have to do a few things. So you would have to hit your objectives. For one, you have to find out where the uranium is, and you'd have to go after that. And honestly, I don't think I think they have ideas. I think I think they've narrowed it down to a mountain, but there's no saying that it is there. It's pretty easy to move. And, I still think it'll be messy. I don't know about, and I don't know about whether they have a machine that will do that, but nothing surprises me anymore. Let's see. And then 500 soldiers go in and take care of things very easy because the enemy is sick. Well, that would be an easy way to do it if they have such a machine. But the problem is a machine like that also, it's not going to, it wouldn't just impact the soldiers. It would impact local civilians, people who are innocent as well. So I would not be in favor of using a machine like that personally. Doorpat, are we expecting more sell-offs or just stagflation in the markets? Once earnings start again in April, we will dip further 9H. Well, I am back to 2024 levels in my portfolio. It's a good question. So far, heading into tomorrow, we don't have a lot of negative stimulus. So we don't have, Trump hasn't been making a bunch of threats. The only real negative stimulus we have is the Houthis firing a missile at Israel. So right now, as long as we get no more further stimulus, I'm kind of thinking the market might actually open green tomorrow. So we'll see. And here's the thing, I will always say this, in this type of environment, it's really easy to be wrong. But I think we'll have a green market tomorrow, but let's see. Scott, good thing Trump likes McDonald's and not Whoppers. McDonald's. Brian is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Seabass says, sorry about the weird tickers. VIX futures and oil futures open at 6 p.m. Yeah, they certainly do. It'll be a good indication of how markets will react Monday morning. On Wealthsimple, we can trade at 8 p.m. tonight. Oh, nice. Yeah, and I know we're waiting on those tickers for sure, because I know John wanted to know what the oil futures were looking like. So once we get some stuff here, guys, any of you who do have the futures up, just pay attention. Now on my thing, I will get to see how a WTI responds. So Brent doesn't go live, but let's just see what we got. What is that? 20 minutes from now. So 20 minutes. All right. Very, very cool. All right. Now, let's see, Len, when liberals run out of money, they just tax us on top of tax. We need to get rid of this clown Liberal Party. Canadians need to prosper. Canadians need to prosper. A government needs to work. I really would love to see less division between the different parties. I'd like to see a lot more party collaboration. That's what I want. Now, and I'm probably an idiot for wanting that, but I would love to see liberals and conservatives working together. And I think Pierre Poilievre has said that he'd like to see that. So yeah, let's make that happen. I don't know how, but we'll see. Let's see. The Nasdaq is already in correction. It's close. It's really close. So you need to be 10% down. I'll have the data tomorrow. Maybe they already are. We eyeballed it and it looked like it was close. So, it could be. But I will we'll double check. And I know that a few news places have been saying that it is in correction. It needs to be 10% though, by the book. And that's something you can't even argue. You can't argue it. Although you could say if it's like 9.5, you could say, yeah, we're close to correction. And a lot of people will call it a correction at 9.5. I won't. I will only call it a correction at 10 because I believe in numbers. And there's a line. You can go right up to the line, but you got to cross it to get that title. But I'm going to get those numbers and I'll bring it tomorrow to the show. So, and we'll look like when we look. So here, well, let's take a look right now, just to give you a general idea here. Here's our NASDAQ. And I'm going to pull it back. And actually, the 1 hour is not a good way to go. Let's go to, we'll go to the 4-hour chart. Yeah, that'll work. Because the big thing is we want to look, and right up here is your top. So right here, so roughly 26,196. So, it's down a little over 3,000. So that might be a correction. So that might be looking at that number, because when we looked back, we weren't really looking at these two high peaks. So yeah, if we use one of these high peaks, you might be right. That looks like it's probably, the NASDAQ might already be in correction, but the other markets definitely are not there yet. But I think the NASDAQ is. And that's the thing. Like I said, we're going to do this tomorrow. I'll bring the numbers, although we just kind of did it here with the NASDAQ. Yeah, looking at that is correction territory. All right. A says XID ETF is down quite a bit. India ETF going to fail due to increased risk of inflation due to oil going up. Yeah, India's an interesting case. So obviously, what had been going on in India before all of this happened is India was trying to rebuild their infrastructure. That was kind of a big thing for India. Rebuild infrastructure because they are now the most populous country in the world. They took that crown away from China, and they've been trying to take a lot of business away from China because, you got a lot of people, you can produce things cheaply. So to do that, though, they need the infrastructure. So there's been a lot of money being poured into that. And XID, it was doing really well because of that. But yeah, now that we've moved into this situation where we got oil-based inflation happening, it is costing India a lot more. And where India is still technically considered an emerging market, they could be hit a little bit harder than the Western world. Because if you've already got the infrastructure in place, it's not so bad. But if you're in the process of building it, it means it becomes more expensive. And that might be what's going on with XID. And let's actually take a look. I have not looked at XID in forever, to be honest. Here we go. So iShares India. So yeah, down 1.79 on Friday. But let's take a look here. Oh yeah, so basically, yeah, this whole year hasn't been great for it. They've certainly been down. So, and you can't blame this entirely on the war, because obviously the war started about here. This more steep. So basically, they took a gentle slope and they made it steeper. So yeah, I would have to look more into India to find out what exactly has been going on there. Like, I still like India. I think it's a good market. But yeah, they've been kind of flat for a while, and now they are certainly down a little bit. All right. Best copper-based stock with dividends. Stock. Oh, that's a good question. Like, obviously, I love that one ETF, but when it comes to stocks, now with dividends, though, that's the part. Like, let's see here. I do like, let's see, Mara. There we go. Mara Holdings. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh boy. It's not. I thought it was Mari. I thought it was Mari. Let me just take a look here. Yeah, this one here. Mari. I always want to go A. I don't know why, but Marimaca. So I don't know if they have. I don't think they don't have a dividend. So yeah, this is just one that I like. And they've had their explosion, but yeah, they're down now because of copper. But I don't know one off the top of my head that has any kind of serious dividends with it. If anybody does, if anybody in chat knows of a company that has a copper stock with dividends, please drop it in. I don't know of one off the top of my head. Let's see, Rory, war operation plan response with a side of pickles and onions. There we go. Perhaps they'll give him a concept of a meal. Oh boy. Brian says if things like this, if things last like this for a while, some of the food royalty ETF could take a hit, like they did for a while, even after COVID. Yes, because as people can't afford to spend, fast food is going to be, it's not going to be something that's going to be hit as often. People will be, they'll be bagging it. So that could hurt, for example, Pizza. SRV, maybe the keg, A&W. So yeah, some of those could definitely certainly get hurt for sure. Insert myth letters. Countries in Asia, Thailand, that import a huge percentage of their energy from the UAE are rationing now. It will get worse if this war continues. Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. Vanna White isn't here anymore. Is Vanna White gone? Like, did she pass away? I did not know that. And Len says Iran was indeed an imminent threat. They were only weeks away from developing their first nuclear weapon. Well, nobody knows 100%. That's kind of the point I'm making. It's possible. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it's possible. But they've been saying that for a long time. So after, if somebody keeps saying that over and over again, it starts to lose a little bit of its credibility. And that's kind of where I'm coming from on that one. All right, Rory, the USA should not ignore Syria either. Damascus could enter the conflict. Everything's a possibility. Everything is. What can I say? Lance says, watch Mary Trump's interview on Donald Trump. She hates Trump with an absolute passion. She talked about why he really attacked Iran and explained how it was determined that Iran was years away from being an imminent nuclear threat. Okay, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. And I always say, I'm always willing to listen to all of them. I don't know which one is true. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. All right. Niece says Sweden have a cheap way to defeat drones named Loki. Videos of YouTube if you don't want to know. Oh, is it like is it a defense missile system or something? But yeah, that sounds kind of cool. And I like the fact when I think of Loki, of course, I think of the Norse god of mischief. But that'd be kind of cool. Let me see here. Kelly, Trump has redirected $135 million Swiss deposit on F-35s, and they are not expected to get their planes. One more check mark for us buying Gripens. Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather buy from Sweden, personally, for sure. Seabass, those battalions are sitting ducks. If Iran can destroy a 1 billion radar that will take 5 to 8 years to rebuild, the U.S. cannot protect anything with efficiency. Yeah. All right. Simple says hello from near Sarnia, Ontario. Candace, have a blessed week. Well, you too. You too. Let's see. You should buy the planes you want, but as a Swede, I hope for Gripen. I think we're all with you. We're all with you on this for sure. Xenial, certain the Mag 7 stocks are already in a crash, like Meta and Microsoft. Yeah, they've certainly suffered. Absolutely. Let's see. Adore Pat, if oil prices continue to rise and flight fares are already skyrocketing, would people still travel this summer, or airlines would rather cancel flights than lower prices? It's so high now, especially to Asia. I could see consolidated flights, like you might cancel one, but sort of like, I think there'll be less flights. I think they'll still be there, but I think they'll just be less. That way there, you don't have as many options on when you can go. It's like, these are when the flights go, pick one. Um, let's see, my USAR has tanked badly. Will this ever go back to $25? Let's take a look at USAR. There we go. USA Rare Earth. Oh boy. Yeah, and I know a lot of people have been, this one has come up quite a bit in the chat. And I got to say, I've always said that there's better options in Canada. So I still stick to that. I still stick to that. But, here's the thing. I think it will go up. Will it get back to this peak? Like, oh my God, look at this. At one point, it was up at 38. This is kind of an abnormality. So I always say that when you get something like this, if you want to see how something is doing, ignore some of these giant peaks, because this is something drove up the price. Usually it's a, buy the news opportunity. So I like to take a line in here and look at what the fair price is. It's still below where the fair price is, but, well, here, let me show you. Let's try this here. Let's just grab this here. And here we go. I want the prices too. All right, now let's head over to bingo. And we're going to go below the bingo. And I'm just going to upload files. Here we go. That screenshot. Bang. All right, perfect. I just want this screenshot here. And let's go over to elements. I need a line. Here we go. Let's take this line here. All right, perfect. Oh, I like it. I like it. All right, so I will take a line. Now, this is not as easy as a thing, but all I like to do is I like to take a line and sort of look at an average amount. So when I look at an average amount, this here is kind of the average amount. So yeah, you have things that will go up. You have things. This might have been a news event. I don't know what it was personally, but there might have been some hype. Maybe there was a news event or something happened in the company that people were super excited about, and then this type of thing happens. So I like to look at where it's going if these type of things didn't happen. And then I use that as my baseline. So right now, as you can see, it is low. So it's lower than the baseline. I'll move the baseline over a little bit. So it's a little bit lower than where it should be. Right now, it should be closer to $20. So it should be closer to $20. So is $20 realistic? Yeah, it is. Is 25? Well, that's a little bit above that baseline. How often do they get above that baseline? Well, not that often. So is 25 realistic? Not really at this point, not without news or without some kind of event. But if you take this forward, eventually, and we'll move it forward, and let's see here, yeah, there we go. You'll notice that as we get further in time, you will get to 25 eventually. But, it's not realistic right now for this to jump up and hit 25. It probably won't without any kind of external stimulus. So that's kind of the way I look at that. And right now with a war, that doesn't help. The war does not help with everybody being so uncertain. So I would look at it that way. All right. Michael says, how does AMBP look that makes cans for different kinds of drinks that pay dividend of 10 cents each quarter? How does it? That I don't know. I do not know a lot about AMBP. Okay, and let's see here. SCCO, a copper play with dividend. All right, let's take a look. I have a feeling it might be US, guys, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, let's head over here. All right, so SCCO. Yeah, it's US. So Southern Copper right there. So Southern Copper, it does have, what is it? It's a quarterly dividend. It's not much. It's 2.468%. I think you may have been looking for higher, but so this here is a US one, Southern Copper Corporation. All right, Elaine says, I forgot I got I forgot I got to this live when it's live. Been watching thinking I was on replay. Hey all, happy Sunday. Hey, welcome Elaine. How are you? Oh, you know what I forgot to do, guys? I forgot to see about those likes because I told you guys let's get it to 50. Let me just refresh. This and we'll see where we're at. I think we should be above. We should be. Yeah, look at that. We're at 66. So 4 more, and I'll shut up. 4 more like. Actually, I kind of shut up already, but 4 more likes, guys. Just 4 more, and I'll be happy. All right. Let's see. Loki. According to Denise, Loki is radar and the trustworthy 40 millimeter and probably other stuff working together. Oh, okay. So it's more of it's kind of a defense system. So, you know, tag them and tag and bag those incoming drones. Hey, would Air Canada fall quite a bit if oil continues to rise under $15? It's going to impact Air Canada. Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, as the price of jet fuel goes up, that's going to impact was people are less willing to travel for 2 reasons. One, the price, and the other is that there's a war going on. We don't want to be heading to that part of the world. So you got kind of that extra thing. People don't want to go to the States. Well, some people do, but most people don't because of all of the friction between Canada and the US. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. Let's see. Saya says, a NASDAQ down today. Do we have? No, we don't have anything yet. I mean, because, yeah, we don't know yet. We got to see where things are going to go. 6, I think, is when the futures start. Len says, Mary Trump is not an expert on Iran. She must hate her uncle. We know Iran hates America. We are supposed to wait until they are an imminent threat. It may be too late. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. And, and it is important to understand somebody's position, any biases that they have. Yeah, Mary Trump absolutely has bias against Donald Trump. She's not a fan. So you have to take that into consideration with what she says. Absolutely. NASDAQ down today. Right now, the NASDAQ's not open, but futures should be opening up here in a little bit here, a couple of minutes. So the big thing is, actually, I don't know about, the big thing is looking at oil. I think if we see what the oil is going to do, that is going to give us a general idea of what the market does. Rob says, does anyone remember the name of that 80s rock music video where the global leaders are duking it out in the boxing ring? Was that the Genesis one? What was it? Land of Confusion? Is that the one? Because they used the spitting image puppets. So I know that one had Ronald Reagan in it and a whole bunch of world leaders, and it had Superman and a whole bunch, Michael Jackson, a whole bunch of different people. But yeah, Land of Confusion. So I don't know if that was the one though. And Scott says maybe it wasn't. Scott's thinking Two Tribes by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. All right, maybe it was that one. Will Go Easy go back up, or is the stock cooked? I think it will rise slowly, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So for now, it's probably cooked for a little while. Rob, Candace, USAR spiked up like that because of the precious metals hype and that Asian AI guy. I don't like Asian AI guy. It's like, go away, Asian AI guy. Oh my God, I think I caught up. Tom, here's hoping we can get out of our swings this week. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I look at it this way. If Bitcoin were to go up, and right now, where is Bitcoin right now? Let me just get back to regular size. We'll get back to my 1 hour. Let's get down to Bitcoin. See if we get any movement here. That's WTI. Oh, I do have movement on, I think I have movement on WTI. I've got the live button on WTI. Yep. So WTI is now active. And there we go. Let me just pull this up. All right, so here's WTI. And I'm going to make it a little bigger so that you guys can see it. All right, let's go this way. All right, so WTI opened a little higher. Right now, it's coming in at 99.235, so 99.235. So yeah, it's kind of sitting a little higher, but not a lot higher. But Still, that means for me, I don't have the Brent information yet. Like Brent doesn't show up. It won't show up for us today, at least on the stream. But by looking at what WTI is going, it's giving us a general idea. So if WTI goes up, Brent will definitely enter above 110. That, well, that bodes for if we do have a green market, it means it may not be a strong green market. Depending on now, if this really goes up, and right now it's kind of not, it's kind of just sort of moving a little bit. We'll see. But if this were to really go up, that could definitely spell a red market for sure. But if it does retrace, then we probably will have ourselves a green market. Rob says, yeah, that's it. Frankie goes to Hollywood in 2 drives. Okay, there we go. Let's see. I remember back in 2008 when oil hit all-time high, Air Canada tanked. This was one of my best trades as recovery. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I think I'm back in. I think I got back in on Air Canada. I'm going to look for another exit point and then see what happens. But let's see, Rob, if you want my opinion, Asian AI guy was by JP Morgan to pump silver to all-time highs. Maybe. I never actually seen this Asian AI guy. I know I meant to go look at him, but I couldn't be bothered. I just like, yeah, what can we do? Dorpat says if Trump doesn't tweet again. Yeah, well, yeah, there's still, there's still overnight. I have a feeling though, I don't think he's gonna. Normally he already tweets by now, so. Let's see what happens. So right now, look at this, guys. Oil is starting to come back down. Let's hope we stick with this trend. Let's keep nice red candle. Let's get a bigger red candle here because that would spell some good news for the market for tomorrow. Oh gosh, so good. All right, Len, do you think it's a good idea to hold on to HHIS or sell and buy oil? Here's the thing. I mean, if there's going to be an oil shortage, an energy crisis, oil's going to go up. So I think that's not a bad idea. Now, I like HHIS, and obviously, if tech continues to go down, and we'll have to sort of see where this is going. If we do move into a bear market, then yeah, tech is going to go down a little bit more. So there will be better entry points on HHIS if that happens. But I still like HHIS a lot. So I don't know. I don't know if I would sell. I know in the challenge I'll dollar cost average as it goes down, add more. I'm good. I'm good with that. Let's see, Rob. Trump was talking about Bitcoin. I had seen on my Facebook feed. Okay, but keep in mind, I always will say, oh boy, oh we got green. Look at that. WTI just moved up to 100. Oh boy, I didn't want to see that. Be careful with the news articles you guys see on Facebook. A lot of them are not even close to being factual. Because a lot of times, a lot of people will create fake articles. They'll use AI or they'll just create them on their own. And a lot of times it's just to get you to click and go, sometimes it's to get you to click so that they can, they can try to get some malware on your system. Or sometimes it's just, some people just want the clicks. So I always say be very, very careful. Facebook is probably, out of all of the news sources out there, I would say Facebook is probably the worst place to get your news from. There are, what I like to do personally is I tend to go between, I've got a right-leaning news source and a left-leaning news source. I like to look at them both and then see what overlaps. And the stuff that overlaps, those are the things I have a lot more confidence in. So for example, the two that I tend to use, and those of you who lean right will go, oh my God, you use CNN? I do. And then on the right-hand side, I use Drudge Report. So between the two of them, and a lot of times when you go to Drudge Report, Drudge Report tends to sometimes really lean right on some things and tends to be a little clickbaity. But when I see stuff coming through on both sides, those are the things that I'm like, oh yeah, those things are probably true. And then I take things also, depending on where it comes from. So obviously, if I'll give you an example, let's actually do it. Let's go right now. Let's head over to Drudge Report. All right, this is not Drudge Report. This here is CNN. They're warning about a ground invasion. All right, but let's go to Drudge Report. Drudge Report tends to be a little more, yeah, they tend to be a little more clickbaity. So I will look and I will see things here like Russia sharing satellite images. Okay, and I saw that. I heard about that as well on Facebook, on CNN. So I'm like, all right, this is probably true. Sleeper cell fears. Yeah, absolutely. People are afraid. I've seen in multiple places. Now Iran vows invaders will be set on fire. Okay, maybe they did. But to me, I'm like, that's more of a sensational topic. So I won't really look at it too much. And this is kind of thing. Marines head to war. So yeah, there's preparations for a potential ground assault on Karg Island. So yeah, that tends to be, that's kind of good. So I've got it coming from a couple of ends. You see now, look, let me just take us back over here to CNN. So now we're heading to the left. And here we go. Here's the ground invasion part. U.S. warns against ground invasion. Oh, I hope I didn't click on that. But then a lot of times they'll go into other different stuff, Artemis crew, all of that. Heavy smoke engulfs Israel industrial site. But yeah, going through this, though, I have seen over the weekend some of the other stuff that I said was on both. So I tend to like to go back and forth. I like to sort of look at both sides and look for the commonalities, because if both sides, and this is starting to sound like an advertisement for Ground News, no affiliation with Ground News, and I don't even have an affiliate link for Ground News, but I like to look at the things that overlap. The things that are on both sides tend to be a lot more, feasible when it comes to the end game. All right. Let's see. Navi says, my friend booked a ticket to India. Usually he told me it costs $1,800 or less, but this time in December is $24. Oh boy. The agent said to book now because it might go even higher. Yeah, if you're planning to fly anywhere, guys, in the next year, if you're 100% sure you're going, I would book now. I would not wait, because yeah, prices will go higher. No doubt about it. Scott, Facebook, you won't find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Maybe. Okay, maybe Moz Isley. Yeah, well, yeah, Facebook is, it's funny. I don't even like to go to Facebook that much anymore. I get, like I said, I will see one thing from somebody I know, and then I might have to go through 5-6 ads or 5-6 groups that I don't even know why are in my feed, and then I might see another thing. So it's like, I don't mind ads. You know what? Yeah, ads make the world go around. We need ads. Fine. I'm okay with that. But the ratio of ads to real content, that's, even if it was 1-to-1, it wouldn't be so bad instead of 1-to-10. I just want to see less ads. That's the way I look at it. Rob, the decline of Canada was all because of the legalization of marijuana. I was never a fan. I'm not a fan of marijuana. I don't use marijuana. I don't like running into somebody who's smoking it out on the street, because it stinks a lot. I guess that's why they call it skunk weed. But at the same time, I look at it this way. Like, I think there are groups of people, like if you have a pain, like if you have an illness that creates a lot of pain, that marijuana is the only thing that seems to make it go away. Well, yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I do believe, though, in people's right to do stuff, but at the same time, I think there needs to be strict rules around it. So, for example, you take something like alcohol. You can't drink and drive. It needs to be like, alcohol. I don't know if you call it officially a controlled substance, but I think as long as you keep a certain amount of control on it. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, the genie is out of the out of the bottle. So we have to live with it. The big thing is yeah, control. Like, I've got no problem. Like, if any one of you decides you want to you want to do the Mary Jane, that's your problem. That's not your problem, but that's your prerogative. I don't care. The only thing I care about is, if you live underneath me and it comes up through the floors, don't do it. Don't do it because it'll annoy me. And believe it or not, that happened. I had a downstairs neighbor, and the actual rules of the house that I was renting is there was no any kind of smoking at all inside the house. So, and I talked to them and I was just like, come on, guys, do it outside. I don't need it coming up through the vents. And they wouldn't listen. So eventually I had to report them to the landlord. I did, just because and that was great. After that, I had a whole week before I could smell it again, and then it came back. So at that point, I didn't report them a second time. I'm like, this is pointless. But I tried to talk to them. What can I say? Marijuana and skunk odor are very similar in smell. Yes. The genie is out of the bong. Oh boy. There we go. There we go. What can I say? Holy cow. So guys, we are getting closer to the end. We're not there yet. We're getting closer. Make sure if you got any last minute questions, get them on in. We still got, we probably got a good 19 minutes left. So, bring them on up while you guys are thinking about questions. Oh, let's go over to our, this is the Ambassador Games over on Blossom. So yeah, basically a March competition. So we're running out of time, guys. We're running out of time. I'm not going to finish first in my division. So right now in my division, I'm currently I'm Blue Whale. So I'm sitting here in number five. I just want number 4 back at this point. Like I don't even think it's reasonable to try to get to 3. So I'm looking to move up one more spot. So guys, how do I move up? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's basically Blossom is a social media app. It is designed, run by Canadian investors for, well, now it's from North American investors and they're going international. Heck, even Nice over in Sweden is on Blossom. So it's pretty darn cool. I'll show it to you here in a second. But every time one of you guys signs up using my link, I get a point. And that's how in March, 11 of you guys have signed up. So I've gotten 11 points. I need, basically I need 3 more by the end of Tuesday to sign up to get into this position. I might even need 4 if this red bear decides to, pull out their claws and claw up another mark. But here's the beautiful thing. This here is Blossom. This is your main page. I am on the home page. So it's simple. You get a feed, normal social media feed, all kinds of different stuff. It's all finance related. There's Canadian in a t-shirt there. He looks better without the glasses, I think. But, I'd never drop my glasses because I think they're part of my overall look. But once you get over there, guys, and here, let me drop a link in here first. Let's see here, BLOSSOM. And you guys could do this as well if you ever want a code. Just !Blossom, !Wealthsimple, and then it'll bring it on up. So once you do get over here, one of the things I'll ask you to do is follow me. I'm going to follow you right back. And the reason I will ask you to do that is I tend to go down through here. I tend to like going through my my notifications for the people I follow. So I have a better chance of running into you. Like, look at this. Here's Doorpat. There you go. One of you right at the top. Doorpat right here. Liked your comment. Doorpat Diaries. There we go. That's because I made a post this morning just asking people about, what did I ask? Oh, about deals. What deals did you find on the market and all of the volatility? So, I'm trying to post more over here, and it's a great way to just to get in. And I do like to come in and take a look to see see Doorpat said, see you later today, Candace. And just to prove I did come in here and I replied. I'm sure I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, yes you will. Yes you will. So if you have something though that you absolutely want me to see, you can mention me. You can mention me over here. All you got to do to mention me is just put an @Mountain Finance. @Mountain Finance. then it gets in my mention column, and that way there I'm sure to look at it, because sometimes it might be something you want me to take a look at. I mean, you could also throw it over on Discord. That's another way as well. But guys, if you're not yet on Blossom, please, please, please use that link and get over there. Let's try to get me back into 4th place. I missed 4th place. I was in 4th place before Red Bear jumped ahead. So that'd be a good place to finish for the month for sure. All right. Now, speaking of Doorpat, same here. Family of 4 flights to Japan for July, now at 9K plus. Had to book before it goes higher. Yikes. Yeah, you see, and that's the thing. Oh boy. Things are going to get more expensive. There's no way around it. Here, I'll tell you guys something right now. This is don't take this as food advice. If I were I'm not a registered foodtician, a nutritionist, but here's what I would certainly do, especially if you have a big family. I would, if you got a little bit of extra money, I'd head over to Costco and I'd start looking at them supersized stuff and just start buying stuff. Even if you don't need it, I would be buying stuff just so that way there you got a whole bunch of your staples at home ready for if the prices are going up, you bought it back now. So, it'll help isolate you a little bit. So I would think about it. I'm not saying to do it, guys. I'm not giving you guys food advice. I'm just giving you guys some savings advice and how you might be able to save a little bit of money. So, the giant things of peanut butter. What is it? What else do they have there? They got everything they have is giant size. It's like hilariously giant. But obviously you can't do that with all of your perishables, but you can do that with all of your pantry stuff. And I would consider doing it because, things are going to get a little more expensive. And, it won't be good. It won't be good. And because I honestly don't think this war is going to end anytime soon. Oh, speaking of the war, how is oil doing? Oh, it's still sitting here at 99. So let's just hope it stays. I'm hoping it stays under 100. I'm hoping, stay down here. Come on back down a little bit. Let's see, And Bitcoin currently, that's what we actually came over here for. We came over here to look at Bitcoin. So let's see. Oh, yeah, Bitcoin's got a little bit of a red candle going. As long as it stays above that line, I am happy. I'm happy. Let's see. Navi says, I went on Blossom, just followed you. Do you get to move up a spot? Unless I only get to move up a spot if you're brand new to Blossom and you use that code. But if you're already on Blossom and you follow me, it doesn't count. But thank you. Thank you, because now here's what I do. I head over to Blossom. I'm going to refresh this and see if we got a 1 here. I hope so. There's a 1. Aha. Navtej followed you. There we go. And I'm going to follow you right back. Bang. Boom. Now I follow Navi. I like it. So there we go. That's all it takes. Seabass, Candace is a prepper. Not a prepper. I'm a saver. Let's just say that. Yeah, guys. And when I mentioned going to Costco, it's like, I don't think this war is going to last for like a year. I don't think. It could. I'm only thinking like, if you want to buy a giant thing of peanut butter, maybe buy 1. I'm not saying buy 20 of them. I don't think you need an underground bunker to store your food in. You probably don't need to build traps around your house in case people realize you have food and they start coming to look for your food. So no, not a prepper. Not a prepper at all. I'm just saying, hey, makes sense. If prices are going up, you might as well buy when they're just a little bit cheaper. So that's kind of the way I look at that. But prepper, I have watched every so often. I will admit I have watched I've watched some prepper stuff sometimes just because I'm curious, and every time I watch a prepper thing, I usually end up going away from it going, oh my God. they really, really, really are misreading the world. And there's, I can understand. You know what? Until something happens, you know, there's, I guess there's no precedence. Like, if a nuclear war breaks out, it breaks out. I don't think it will, but can I say that with all, 100%? No, I can't. But, and honestly, I mean, honestly, guys, if a massive, like if a worldwide nuclear war were to break out, I don't know if I want to be prepared for it. Well, I mean, considering where I live, I live in the capital of a country. Um, it's not that far away from downtown. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm toast. Pretty sure I'm toast. So, no prepping available. I don't think I could hide out in my basement and survive it. I don't think I could. And in a way, if I did survive it, it probably means pain and misery for the next month before I die of radiation sickness. So, yeah, I'd rather just go on the initial blast. Yeah, as simple as that. Scott, let's see. Scott says Sheena is a punk rocker. Sheena, who is Sheena? I feel like I should know Sheena, but I don't know Sheena. I had a cat once that I named Sheena. Let's see. Scott. Seabass says, it is interesting. I'm just teasing. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. I do not mind at all, guys. Yeah, I would have fun. I mean, if it wasn't finance, I was going to start a prepper channel. There we go. My prepper channel. Yep. Oh boy. Could I even use holy banana bread for prepper? Yeah, it might be like holy iodine tablets. Oil is up at the moment. Oh boy. Yeah, I saw it being up a little bit, but let's go back here. Oh yeah, well yeah, no, no, oh no, look. I mean, it is up. Yes, it is up from where it ended. But I don't mind seeing that as red. Just stay under. Like, I really want WTI to stay under 100. Oh, Sheena Easton. All right, yeah, yeah, I know who Sheena Easton is. So there we go. Bismarcky, I would think if anyone attacks Canada, it would be Toronto, bigger population. It depends on what you're going for, right? If you're going for command, well, then Ottawa would be a target for sure. But I don't think anybody would actually. The only reason, like, I think Canada would ever get nuked is if it were like the big one. And in that case, we're all dead. So what can you say? And I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I think we're safe. I think you guys are safe. Let's see, Scott. It's a Ramones song. Okay. Brent is at 115. Oh, you can see Brent. Oh. You see, I wish I could see Brent right now. So Brent at 115. All right. Oh, I didn't want to see that. I know right now, like when you look here, a WTI, it's only up a little bit. It's only up 0.61. I don't mind this 5.29. We do not have Brent data, live Brent data on here. So you know what I need to do? I need to find another portal that I can use on these Sunday shows. Let's see. My WTI is at 103. My future at 102. Well, I like the 102 compared to the 103. It may, and that's weird. It's weird. Like right now, we don't have a delay on TradingView, but what can I say? Yep, WTI showing 102 to 103. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So TradingView, what are you doing to me? Oh, well. So yeah, we are looking at a little bit of movement on the upside with oil. But keep in mind, we got all night. Anything can happen. I'm hoping it comes back down. Don't attack Montreal. We are French. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, what did the French do? The French haven't done anything. Leave the French alone. There we go. And plus, yeah. I mean, the Habs still have to win the Stanley Cup again. So, leave Montreal alone. What can I say? Holy cow. And let me ask you, PP. Cole Caulfield, is he getting 50 goals this year? There's games left. He's at, what? Is he at 45? He just needs 5 goals. I'd like to see, I can't remember the last time there's been a 50-goal scorer on Montreal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would it be Stéphane Richer from like back in the early 90s or something? It's been a while. Scott says, insert French surrendering joke here. Oh, gosh. The French aren't surrendering. They just went for a bagel. um, Rory said, Edmonton could be a target due to the energy oil pipelines. Yeah, that's a possibility too. But keep in mind, it really depends. Like, I mean, if you look at this current conflict, obviously, Canada really isn't a target per se. Other than if we just happen to be at a place where there are Americans, then yeah, we might get a little bit. Patricia says, "Oh my God, Candace, you may be right. Stefan Riche, it's been a while." Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You see, but I was just trying to think like, when's the last time somebody has done it from Montreal, and it's been a while. So, the stuff you remember sometimes. Guy Lafleur. Yeah, that's been a while. That's been a while. No, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Stefan Riche did it. And that's after Guy Lafleur. Seabass, bye-bye. I have to go do some Uber Eats deliveries to pay for the inflation coming. All right, well, good luck with those deliveries. I'm not planning to order any Uber Eats, but I don't think you're actually delivering in Ottawa, but nonetheless. All right, guys. This has been another fantastic show. You guys want to be here tomorrow because tomorrow we're going to see if we got a bingo. So we got our bingo card already, and I'll pull it up again. Here, let me pull it up. All right, here we go. All right, here it is. Whoops. Let's drag this over. Here is our bingo card. I can actually make it fit. There we go. We got our bingo card. We're going to see if we get a bingo tomorrow. It'll be, it's so much fun. The last one absolutely was a blast because we came down to blackberry. And, was it red or green? I think the prediction was red. And we looked up blackberry and it came in at 0.00. I was like, what? What? So it wasn't red or green. It was totally flat. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get something weird tomorrow. I don't know. But it's going to be fun. We will do this. Like, we won't start it right away. We have to wait for the market to close. And I got on a couple of the markets, I have a 15-minute delay. So we'll start this around 4:15 Eastern tomorrow. So, 4:15 to 4:30. If we got a good conversation on, we'll start it by then, and we'll see. It was so much fun last time. I kind of want to start tomorrow's stream now, but obviously we have to wait and see. So we will be back here tomorrow. We're going to do this all over again. I can't wait. Next video coming out will be on Tuesday, and guys, guess what? We're looking at oil here tonight. The next video, we're going to do a deep dive on Oily. So Oily is up next. Channel members, you'll be able to see that tomorrow afternoon. So that's pretty darn cool. So yeah, until then, guys, holy banana bread. I do have, I should go big. I think I was small the whole episode. What's going on? I have a couple of words I do want to say just before I go. And you guys know what I'm going to say. It's, well, bye-bye.